Hello, my name is Cindy Curry, and this is my final reflection for science methods. I have my list of questions here, so I'm just going to answer them as I go. So, the activity that I benefited most from in this course was actually the 5E lesson plan. Um, I had never really seen a plan that was laid out with the problem solving first, and then you go through the whole process of gaining information, and then the lecture isn't really even until the third step. So that was something that was really revolutionary for me. It took a lot for me to get my head around that concept, and I think I do have a pretty good handle on it now. The only thing is those boxes at the bottom were a little tough, like that information. I wish it was up more towards the top where you copy and paste all of the standards and objectives. But I really liked using that plan. Experiments come kind of naturally to me. I love them. I have a passion for them. So really what I gained from this class was being able to structure and order that all together so I could have a really good experience for my students. The activity that was least beneficial was probably the discussion board. It's nice to get to read what people say, but it's almost like busy work because there's so many things we have to do. And like for me, I'm taking 17 credit hours and I have the 3 internships in there. So to make sure that I just got the discussion board in, I don't think I get as much from it as maybe you as a professor do get from reading everybody's and getting to know us better. Sometimes the discussion boards are tough because it's one question that everybody has the same answer to, so it's really hard to find something to respond that's new or interesting, and sometimes I'll try to find a video or something that ties in, but then that's even more extra time hunting. So I know that one class of mine, and just an idea, for the future that might be kind of fun, is one discussion board carried over 2 weeks, so then people were required to check in a couple times at certain dates. And I know it might be more work or not, but you really saw the discussion board grow and real collaboration happen instead of just people quickly putting their 2 cents to the top 2 posts below them. It's just a thought. It was a pain, but it seemed to be neat to have the discussion board carry over 2 and 3 weeks and build on things and topics. And it was an interesting take on discussion board. So, what can the instructor do differently to make this course a better experience? Overall, it's a really excellent class. I mean, I feel like you as a professor are really vested in it and makes me want to invest in it. And I love science though too, so it's already something that's close to my heart. Just a little discussion board thing, and the same thing on the template is maybe if you can, on the 5E lesson plan, take those boxes that are at the bottom of the template and just put them up below some of that information up there. For me, every time I would try to copy and paste something into those boxes, it messed up the whole format. So I'm spending another half an hour at minimum sometimes trying to reformat it so it isn't half hanging off the page. That kind of just is one of the little stress out things for me. The template is already involved enough that when it malformats itself, it can be really frustrating. So, but it's an exceptional class. It's really a fabulous class, and I thank you for that experience. I feel very well prepared to go out and teach science now. Do I feel better, worse, or the same regarding my ability to teach science, and why? I felt like I could muddle through it before, but now I feel really prepared. I feel like this course has helped me. I can easily draw on a much more simplistic version of the 5E lesson template, which is totally what I would do for planning lessons and really getting that depth that I want my kids to have that builds, and then giving them a lot of input on their own thoughts and processes and environments too in that same topic lesson. So I really did like that template, and I really do plan to use it in the future, and that really has helped me become much more comfortable in the thought of teaching science in the future. So, oh yeah, the one thing on the template is it was really hard for me to wait through those first 3 blocks to be able to teach. You have to wait until you get to that explain part, and it's like, oh, wait, I really want you to know this before you go in and mess it up, but that's part of the process. So learning to really embrace, giving them a problem, a task, and then watching them formulate and struggle through it and work in the constraints that they're given, and then for us all to come back together and really break it down and look at what we're looking at, and then to be able to follow it through moving further. So I feel very confident in being able to execute good lessons now. And the last one, what will be most important to me when I teach science in the classroom? For me, I really need to finish polishing off the progression of how my steps move. Like, it did take me a while to figure out, okay, the bulk of my teaching goes into the explain plan. I'm posing a question in the first one just a little bit, giving a little bit of information, a little bit of backstory, a little bit of something. Then in the second chunk of it, I'm laying out the experiment. In the third chunk of it, okay, now this is where we're really going to teach it. This is where we're going to get in there and get our hands dirty, which is what we used to start with. And then, in the following steps, this is where you're going to bring it in further and push it to bigger boundaries. And so I was able to get those big concepts in my head, which made the 5E plan a little bit easier. But I just need to polish it, smooth it out, make it a well-oiled machine. So no matter what topic I'm working on, I can just plug it right in. So that kind of helps. That is what I plan to do in the future. And then the other thing that I really need to work on, or that is really important to me, is still continuing to work on those ABCD objectives. I still struggle with them. I try really hard to lay out a formula and plug in a formula, but sometimes I feel like my objectives aren't accomplishing what the standard needs. So, and I see that with my mentor too. I've gone back, and when she's given me some ideas and I've brought in ideas, and then I'm like trying to find the standard it applies to, I'm like, it's not here, it's not right where you need to do. And some of the things she does teach are a little, might be in a 3rd grade standard or a 5th grade standard. So it's not all 4th grade standards that she teaches from, just because of how her topics nest in together. She does follow standards. It's just not as specific of being able to say, okay, here's the experiment that I'm working on, and this ties specifically to this standard. She just doesn't do it that way. And I'm not sure if that's right or wrong. Just having to work with her through this process, and taking the lessons that I planned in here and teaching them in her room, that's one hurdle that I really had to struggle with. And some of the standards, if you look in certain documents, span, 2 through 5. K through 2. They're not the specific ones that are laid out. So the standards are something that I need to continue to become more comfortable with. And as I'm in my own classroom and, I'm able to run things a little more the way that I would like to, instead of trying to pick up in the middle of someone else's world, I think it'll be a lot easier. But I really do appreciate everything you've done. You're an excellent professor. And thank you so much for this experience, and I feel very confident to go out and teach. And I know you felt like you might have struggled through parts of the class, but you really didn't. You did a seamless job and a wonderful job. So thank you for an excellent semester. Have a fabulous holiday coming up, and I wish you the best.